Hello, welcome to my channel, Knit Stitch Grow. I'm Mel, and today I am going to do a wee video about what's happening this week. Basically, I've taken the week off and I'm going to try and get quite a bit of sewing done. Now, when I say quite a bit, I'm actually quite a slow sewer and I enjoy sewing slowly. So I'm not, I've not got any kind of grand plans to make a million things, but there are a few things on my plans list. Well, actually, a few things on my plans list, but also a few things that I've already started making, which I hope by the end of the week I can get finished. So I'm really just taking you along on the journey with me so we can see how much I can get sewn up. So it's actually, I'm recording this on the second day of the week. So this is Tuesday, it's now Tuesday. Yesterday I had already started making a pattern called the Key Pants by Love Notions. And it's a wide-legged trouser pattern that you can also make as shorts. You can make as kind of wider palazzo pants. They have like a tulip hem finish. There's lots of different variations. I made a pair of shorts last year as a wearable toile in a pair of in some double gauze, and I really like the fit. They fit me really nicely. So this year, when we had some of the warm weather, some of the heat wave that came along a month or so ago, I decided that it would be useful to have another pair of shorts, and I also wanted to make a pair of the wide leg trousers so that I could wear them for work. So what I've done so far is I'm basically making the shorts and the trousers at the same time. So here's where I am. These are the shorts. Making them in a lovely cotton. The colourway is called Kelp. I got the fabric from the new craft house. So it's a dead stock cotton, and it's a really beautiful, I don't know if, yeah, that's probably quite a good, that's how the colour looks. It's like a kelpy green, it's beautiful. So I've got these as the shorts. It hasn't got waistband on yet. And then I'm using a black viscose tencel for the wide-legged long leg trousers. So I've done everything basically apart from the waistband. I started these a couple of weekends ago. And so yesterday I started doing the waistbands. So for the shorts version, I have put the waistband pieces together, and I've also put the elastic in the back. So I've tried them on, and I don't know about you, but because I don't like my trousers to be super tight, I've got kind of sensory issues around my waist. So I don't like anything to be too tight, but I also don't want them to be too loose. So I kind of struggle to work out just how much elastic I need. But I've tried these on a few times now, and I pinned the waistband to the shorts and tried them on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste the waistband to the shorts and then try them on and see if I like it. Because I don't need a lot of elastic, and I think this is probably going to be enough. But I don't want to, what the pattern does is it has you kind of sew the waistband, sew the elastic in and then attach the waistband to the trousers. So I don't want to do all that and then they're too loose or too tight. So I'm going to baste it all in, see how they fit, adjust if necessary, and then go back and sew them in properly. That'll be good though, because it'll be nice to have an actual pair of, I mean, I don't know whether I'm just being incredibly optimistic to think that we're still going to get like warm weather, although it's that kind of muggy, that's kind of that'll give you an idea of how they're hopefully going to look. And the black trousers are the same, it's the same pattern. So it's a nice waist, it's a nice flat fronted waistband with elastic at the back. So I'll see how that goes. But as I say, I mean, maybe I'm just being very optimistic about it being shorts weather, but here's hoping that we still get sunshine so I can wear my shorts when I eventually finish them. So the next thing I have on my list to attempt to get finished this week is the Wave Float top by Matchy. And you can see, hopefully you can see the line drawings there. And I just thought it was a really cute, kind of casual, but like going out for lunch or just, you know, going out somewhere during the day kind of top. And I am planning to make it in this beautiful, I think it's a viscose. I got it from Rainbow Fabrics last year, perhaps. So yeah, I want to make it up in that because it's beautiful. We are going to, it's Edinburgh, well, various Edinburgh festivals have started, but we're going to go to Fringe by the Sea, which is in North Berwick. We're going to go on Saturday. There's a couple of gigs that we've got tickets for. So I'm hoping to make this top so that I can just wear it with jeans on the day, which I think will be very nice. So that's that one. I actually saw it, the kind of the wave top kind of passed me by a little bit, but I saw Lauren, who owns Guthrie and Garney, she had kits for one, like her new fabrics, and she'd made up the wave top in one of her fabrics. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's actually a really, it looks like just a nice kind of easy to wear, cute top. And so I thought, oh yeah, I quite fancy making one of those for myself. So I'm looking forward to having it in this. And then the next thing I want to make is the Rathko shirt by French Navy. So it's you'll have seen a lot of patterns like this around, a kind of camp style collar, short sleeved, kind of a little bit boxy. But what I noticed about a lot of the shirt patterns, like the Donny shirt or the other ones aren't coming to me now, but like the Donny shirt is probably quite probably the most famous one. But there's lots of those styles of shirt. But what I found with a lot of the others is the V at the front is actually quite low, and that's not something that suits me. So when I saw the Rathko shirt, when I saw the line drawings for that, I thought, oh, actually it looks like the same kind of style, but not quite as low a V on the neck. So I bought the pattern and I've cut out, I'll just show you that's the little pocket piece, but this is the fabric that I'm going to be making it out of, which is pretty cool because it's got elephants and palm trees, and there's a tiger there and a temple. So it's kind of, I'm hoping to be able to kind of roughly pattern match this pocket. Let's see how that goes. So so yeah, that's the Rathko shirt as well from French Navy. So let's see how many of these things I actually get made up. I definitely want to finish the trousers and the shorts, and I would like to make the wave top because, as I say, hopefully I'd like to be able to wear that on Saturday. But let's see. let's see how it goes. So, how did I get on? Full disclosure, I'm actually videoing this quite a few weeks after my week off because life. But yeah, I'm coming back to just give you an update on how I got on with my sewing. So I managed to finish the shorts, but as you saw in the last clip, all I had to really do with the shorts was put the waistband on. So I basted the waistband in, wore it round for a few hours, and then adjusted the elastic and then sewed it up, and then that was them done. So that was great. And here they are. So I thought I'd ironed these, but they still look a bit crumpled. But anyway, so yeah, I've worn them, washed them, and these are really good. I put a patch pocket on the back of the shorts, and the pattern gives you 2 different options for the inseam. So in my first pair of shorts that I made last year, I did the 8-inch inseam, and they were too long. So this time I went for the 5-inch inseam, and then I think they're just hemmed up by 1 inch maybe. Yeah. So so yeah, that's the shorts, and they are great and they fit well and they're comfy, so I'm really happy with those. I might pop some additional pictures in of me wearing the shorts, but that's them done. And I also finished the long leg version of this pattern as well, the key pattern by Love Notions. I did the long-legged version in a black viscose tencel, and I had a little bit more trouble with that one. Nothing to do with the pattern, but more to do with me. So I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but when I cut out the pattern pieces for the long-legged version of the key pants, there are various variations, and initially I was going to go with the palazzo pants, which have a much wider back leg piece. And then when I came to actually put them together, I thought the wide palazzos are going to be too wide because I wanted to wear them for work. I just thought they're going to be too wide. So I looked at the other pattern piece for the back leg, and there was a slimmer version. So I recut the fabric to the slim version back leg. Now, I don't know what happened, but somehow that back leg piece ended up shorter than the front leg piece when I sewed them together. So initially I thought, oh no, are these going to end up being too short now for me? But thankfully it didn't end up too short, but I basically had like about 1 inch to 1.5 inches difference between my front leg piece, pattern piece, and my back leg pattern piece when I'd cut them out. So that gave me a bit of a head scratcher when it came to working out how to hem these, and it took a while. And I am not a fan of hemming at the best of times. Hemming anything, tops, trousers, I'm just not a fan of hemming. So when I realised that I had such a kind of big difference between the front fabric piece and the back fabric piece, and that I'd have to try and work out a way to hem them together, I eventually did it. And I pinned it on myself, and then I wore them inside out and kind of adjusted the pins a bit more, and then and once I'd got a fit that I was kind of happy with, and then I also kind of just laid the pieces flat and just made sure that they were kind of relatively straight to each other as well. When I was happy with that, I actually basted the bottom of the hem. So not what would be the hem itself, but I basted basically the bottom of the trousers to keep the fabric pieces where I needed them to be. Because I thought if I take out the pins and something slips and it all goes a bit wonky again, I'm not going to be happy. So basting is my friend at the moment. I just seem to be basting everything with these trousers, and it's really, really helped. So anyway, I basted the very bottom of the hem, and then I just kind of used my kind of faux overlock stitch on my sewing machine, overlocked the top of the hem, and then also the discrepancy wasn't just between the front and the back, but it was also for the legs as well. So one leg ended up with like more of a hem than the other. I don't know. And also maybe I've got different length legs. Who knows? Anyway, what I decided to do was, so I'd basted the bottom, I'd faux overlocked the raw edge of the hem, and then I just folded it in and pinned it round, and then roughly the difference between the two was about, I could basically do 5/8 of an inch as my hemline on both trouser legs, and that caught the difference in the hems on both legs. I don't know if this is making any sense to you, but anyway, what I was trying to do was so that from the outside it looked like both hems were hemmed at the same height, because they were, but inside the hems were like slightly different levels. But it's worked. Hooray! So I was very pleased with myself for kind of working around that problem, and now I have a pair of trousers that look acceptably hemmed. So I'm top of the class. In my book anyway. I was very pleased with myself, as you can tell. So I'm actually wearing the trousers now, but I'm not going to try and stand up and give you shit. So I'll add in some pictures of me wearing the trousers with the top that I've also got on, which was also another thing that I got finished. So yeah, my top. So this is the wave top by Matchy. And I was planning to, well, I was hoping to make this in time for Fringe by the Sea, and I did, so that was good. So this is the top here. Again, well, actually, there you go. I can stand up and give you a wee twirl. But I'll also put, I'll be wearing this with the black trousers, so you'll have hopefully seen a video of me wearing the two things together. But this, yeah, I really like this. The fabric is fab colour wise, and yeah, it's just a really easy breezy top. Instructions were great. It has a lot of ease in the pattern, so I ended up making an extra small, which from memory my actual body measurements would have been maybe a small, but looking at the final measurements, I thought that's going to be plenty of ease, and it really is. I mean, it's a very kind of oversized top, but I think this is just the right amount of oversized for me so that it doesn't kind of swamp me. But yeah, the instructions were great. I managed to miss, there's like on the arm there's a tiny little curve leading like the bodice into the arm, and I missed the instructions for sewing the curve up. Now the instructions were there, so I was obviously just kind of raring to go and kind of skipped over that bit. So that did give me a little bit of having to think about how to do that. Luckily I realised I'd missed that step at the point where I was joining the bodice to the gathered ruffle at the bottom. So as I was kind of joining these two together, I realised that I hadn't done this little curve underneath. So I was able to work out how to seam that, and then so that it was actually worked out fine in the end. But it would have been much easier had I just not missed that step out. Lesson learned. Next time I will do all of the steps in the orders that they're given, and then it won't take as long to make. But yeah, it was a really good pattern. It's meant to be cropped. It's meant to be a crop top. Now, I don't wear high-waisted bottom, like trousers or skirts, so a crop top isn't going to work for me. So holding the pattern pieces up and measuring them and working out, I actually added, there's a lengthen and shorten line on the bottom ruffle pattern piece, and so I actually ended up adding 3 inches to the bottom ruffle, and that for me is a great length. So just to kind of point that out, if you love crop tops, fab. You probably don't need to make any adjustments unless you got like a very long torso. But I added 3 inches to mine. So hopefully when I've put photos in of me, you can see where it comes to on me lengthwise. But that for me is a kind of perfect length now. The one thing I really liked about this pattern was the bias bound neckline and the way that they have you do it. So they basically just get you to fold the bias tape into 3, so that each third is a centimetre, and then that's your centimetre seam allowance to sew it onto the neckline. And it went in really well, and I liked that so much, and also because I was a little bit worried about not making the length of it even shorter, that I actually made more bias binding and used that to finish the hem of the top as well. So it gave a really nice finish to the top, which didn't take that much more time. And I think because I was also worried about the hem kind of looking a bit wonky, or like, me not stitching it straight, actually using the bias tape to do the hem was a really good solution. And it actually inspired me to fix the hem of another top that I'd made a while ago. It was this top that I spoke about in one of my earlier videos, but I was trying this on because this is kind of a top that I might wear for work. So I was trying it on with the long key pants, and I noticed I think it shrunk. I mean, I pre-washed the fabric, but it's definitely shorter, or it was shorter than when I originally made it. So what I did was I made some bias binding, unpicked the original hem, made some bias binding, and rebound the hem of this top as well, so that it's given me a good inch, maybe more in length, and also it has a really nice neat finish for that as well. So that was a bonus kind of reworking of the hem so that I could keep wearing it, which was great. So the eagle-eyed among you might be thinking, that's great, Mel, but what about that shirt that you said you were going to make? Unfortunately, I didn't get the shirt started. I mean, but I'm not feeling too sad about it because I do still want to make it, and I will make it. I just ran out of time. I had a week off, and then, I also had to do like life things, and we spent the whole day in North Berwick, which was brilliant, really good fun. We went to see Fringe by the Sea. I wore my top, and we got to see a couple of gigs, which was really good. So that was really nice as well. So I had a good week off. But yeah, so I got, all in all, I got the shorts and the long trousers made. I got this top made, and then I redid the hem on that blouse as well. So I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good in my book. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with what I ended up getting made in that week off. And yeah, I've got lots of things planned. So I think probably the next video that I'll do is a plans video. so that I can kind of update you with other works in progress that I have, and also other things that I'd like to make now that the season is, I know it officially changes kind of towards the end of September, but yeah, I'll make a plans video and then you can see the next kind of things that I'm going to be up to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.